Basically, I've got one more poem, and I might just brief on a few of my ideas and theories and conspiracy theories and about my journey of how I've come to believe this kind of way of thinking. But first of all, I want to read a poem called "The River Called Wet Eyes," and you know, I wish there was more of a silence, you know, kind of like a beautiful silence. But sometimes modern life's very busy and buzzy and with all sorts of things. But the funny thing is, in quietness you can actually listen to people, I always think, and you know, if your mind's all quiet as well, I suppose. Anyway, this is called "The River Called Wet Eyes." You cannot see the tears of a river to carry on with haste. Flowing through this town, it twists and turns as if a vein, and yet separate, only beauty truly clings to her. O fair maiden, with the dance of the peculiar insect world, reimagined to the giant size of anger, as giant as worldwide, considered as black and a grotesque form to be an enemy. Yet they dance over the gentle, still areas of the river, glazing the water with skin as they rest upon, as if skin deep water, its thin legs float around, but as if a pin to burst the bubble. The brush swirls a circle, dimples on a river cheeks, from the variation of the riverbed, shifting its liquid glassiness, a globule roll, like the movements of quicksilver. A sleeping beauty reflection, rest, rest with prudence. Wisdom bites her ankle as she leaned down and scratched the infected bite marks. She caught sight of that, her reflection. Perhaps it is not unlike Narcissus in his golden march of beauty with such a blinding yellow. When have you stopped talking, O river? Whether it is the whispers of the finest therapeutic trickle, or the thunders and rolls of the rapids and the guzzling rocks, perhaps the hollowed reverb of the bridge's speaker, under the arch, in is a running sound. Oh, when have you stopped talking, O river? As a million voices, indeed, it flows through our town and out into the ocean. That piece was quite sad because, you know, it's all about being heard. In this modern day, there are billions of people yelping, giving opinions and views and stuff, but really, it's just a mishmash in water flowing, and sometimes we miss the true point of things. Anyway, just to give a few of my ideas, basically I have what's known as hyperhaucosis in my ears, which is what I believe the cover for being attacked by noise, the sensitivity to sound. I've always been sort of provoked by sound, and it's a weird thing, because sound you can't actually see, but yet it hurts you, it actually attacks you, which is really weird, because, you know, it's just, you listen to it and that's all, and it's usually high-pitched sounds and repetitious sounds, maybe a clicking of the pen. And the clicking of the pen is interesting because it works the same manner as training a dog, a click, and I believe they're designed to, you know, stop people's thought patterns within a classroom or a place like that. And basically I believe in electronic harassment, and it is an actual movement, but to be honest with you, I didn't read up about it. I believed in it before I knew about it. So that is a truth in itself. I only came to arrive at it not by reading about it, but by my own experience as an individual. And you know, there's always unnecessary bleeps and sounds going off. And one of the biggest questions of all I have is, you always hear car alarms go off, but how many are actually broken into? And I would like to know how many car alarms go off daily and how many are actually broken into. And you know, it seems to me there's always a fault in technology, there's always a glitch, there's always a stutter to provoke and hurt your stomach, or to stop you from sleeping and stuff like that. So I believe that as humans, I don't think we're living to our full potential. You know, I believe that we should have a proper connection between all of us. Yes, I believe that we can hear each other and maybe speak telepathically, but I think we have lost the ability to communicate on a comfort, empathy, and spiritual level that can actually help one another. And that's why most mental illness people suffer from social anxiety and social isolation, which is basically being cut off, because people desire to feel that connection, to feel wanted, and I need that. I suppose I'm only speaking through myself, which is quite sad. But I want to read a wee piece about that. It's just short. I'll read it from here. This is just notes, but I'm trying to write an essay on about communication of humans, particularly between two loved ones. Ideally, it would be nice in this modern world to be able to live in each other's minds or heads, and to endure, so that your partner remains in you and you in her. This is the oneness that I referred to earlier. A lot of elements in our modern world is about control, and to be in someone's head could cause influence to the holder. This is why I separate on the reason why being in someone's head is disliked, due to the idea of something or someone being able to control us. I have a voice in my head stating, "Get him out now," which triggers my thinking to presume I am somewhere where I should not be, which confirms my belief. Another voice in my head states, "He is still in there." The meaning of being in there is complicated, but I think its meaning derives from the spirit of being in one's body. A consciousness that remembers and thinks for itself in accordance to the conscience. It builds up a pattern of a character in a person, or his or her personality, that corresponds to your partner that you share headspace with, which could influence each other's makeup of character. These connections are perhaps triggered by the chemistry of attraction, which is why when attracted to the opposite side of the sex, you begin to imitate and mimic bodily gestures and expressions due to oneness. The pureness of love speaks of endurance, of keeping your partner within you, which enables us to converse with each other on an emotional and spiritual level, like empathy. My work, I have to be honest, the word oneness was influenced by a theory in the Bible and about how Christ explains marriage, and he says that the two become one, and I believe it's that form of oneness that we're all cut off, and that's why a lot of marriages sort of break down due to some of these issues. But that's my opinion. Obviously there's lots of other issues like you know, and that's why coercive control comes into it, because if you're aware of it, being aware of things, it's like if I'm aware I'm mimicking another girl's body gestures, I stop doing it. But it should be natural where you don't realise, and it's beautiful. Romance is hard to, you know, it's hard to fathom. It's on many levels, and I just believe sometimes you can be too aware, like myself, and I just hope that romance is sparked and it lives, and you know, I wish connection to you all and to humanity.
Yeah.